Hello everyone and welcome back to BikeMatters. My name is Brett and today I am so happy. I'm bringing you the new Triumph Street Twin. So this is the 2021 version, all fit for Euro 5. I've been a massive fan of Bonneville's since I was a young lad. I've had a tin plate sign in my bedroom. Growing up, I've just absolutely adored the Bonneville range, or the modern classic range from Triumph. And today I'll get my hands on the entry-level version of that range, the Street Twin. But although it is entry-level compared to the rest they've got, this is still one hell of a machine. But more of that on my full road test review coming up, guys. But I'm going to stop because I've got traffic, so there's no point talking about it when I'm not bloody moving. Woo! Now, one thing to know about the Street Twin is just how easy it is to handle. I'm not sure a classic style bike such as this should handle that well. Oh my goodness, when they say it's a modern classic range, Triumph are not lying. They give you the glorious detailing and design work of a classic bike, but mixing with the perfect components of modern day. It's designed to corner and handle and steer absolutely beautifully, and it does. It is an absolute joy to ride. Now, the suspension setup, we have the 41mm cartridge forks at the front looking proper old school, and we have the twin shocks to the rear. Now, it's not hard and it's not overly soft. It's that kind of Goldilocks. It just gives you that type of ride that you'll want from this style of bike. Nice and comfy for everyday riding. But as I say, and we have some more fun on the twisties, that's for sure, this is an absolute hoot to ride and great at cornering for what it is. Don't get me wrong, for what it is. Triumph to set this up really well. Now, the engine on the Street Twin is a 900cc liquid cooled parallel twin, which is 8-valve single overhead cam, and it produces 64.1 brake horsepower at 7,500 RPM. However, it's lovely and torquey, this bike, coming in at 80 Nm of torque at 3,800 RPM, which just means you can ride like this, lovely and gently, in fifth, fourth, look, still lovely, third, still relatively lovely, but I'll pull that back, here comes that torque, and it's just lovely. It means you can ride this like an absolute gentleman, cruise it, enjoy it, but there's still enough torque there to really give this a fun element to it. And that's the great thing about this bike. You want to be smart and sensible, it's got you. You want to still have fun on the twisties, with that torque there, it'll put a smile on your face. It really will. Now, the Street Twin currently comes in 3 colourway options for the 2021 edition. We have this gorgeous blue, which is by far my favourite, which starts at £8,600, and it's the same price for the Ironstone as well. There is also a black version which is £200 cheaper at £8,400. So you have 3 colourways. The black one's the cheapest, and then there's the blue and the Ironstone, which are £8,600 a piece. But some stunning colourways, and I'm in love with this blue. It looks great, it photographs great. Now, the clutch on this is a torque assist clutch, which means it's as light as a feather. It is so light, that clutch. For a 900cc bike, it is impressive. You're not going to get fatigued doing gear changing on this. No sir, that clutch is uber soft and light. And the gearbox itself, it's easy to find neutral, it's easy to find gear. They even give you a gear indicator in the top left of that LCD panel on the dash. So all in all, gearbox is great, clutch is great, and the gearing is also really impressive and allows you to really utilise all that torque and stretch out those gears. Now, it is a 5-speed gearbox, and it might be quick to look at and go, oh, but it couldn't use a 6-speed. It doesn't need a 6-speed, it really doesn't. It'll just cruise at 17 fifth gear, and it's not causing you any problems at all. It's really not. Oh, here we go. This is what it's about, people. Now, it is obviously a naked bike, and you know that when you're buying it. So you know when you're going at faster speeds or the weather's a bit windy, you're open to those elements and you're open to wind buffering. But chances are you're buying this bike knowing damn well of that characteristic. Oh, it just corners so easy, and this bike weighs in, I think, 216 kilograms wet. Now, that's kind of bang on average kind of weight for a modern classic such as this. But it has a low centre of gravity, and it just makes it not feel like 216 kilograms at all, whether you're riding it, whether you're manually handling the thing. It is so easy to manoeuvre this. There's definitely nothing you should be daunted about. It's a very easy bike to manoeuvre, it really is, and it's a lot of fun doing so. Here we go. Let's use some of that torque, shall we? Oh, yes! Up to 60 already! Oh, it just handles beautifully. It really is stunning. Really is. It's a gorgeous note as well, from that parallel twin through that brushed stainless steel twin exhaust. It sounds phenomenal. Not over the top, don't get me wrong, it's not over the top. Oh, I hope the mic can pick that up. It sounds fantastic. So one of the major things with Triumph, with this bike and the Trident that Roger's testing right now as well, is the level and attention to detail of this bike. There's Triumph logos dotted around, embossed in the clocks, in the lights, just everywhere. And it looks such quality. On the headlight, the brackets for the headlights are brushed aluminium. The brushed steel, stainless steel exhaust. It's just such a great eye and attention to detail Triumph give on their bikes. That just make it look absolute quality. Now, I love this bend. Here we go, kick it out. Oh, I love it! I love it! See, that's just, that torque is enough to have some fun on this. It really is. Now, it is also A2 friendly. So, if you've done your A2 license, you can get this restricted to 47 horsepower by Triumph. And away you go, you've got yourself an A2 license friendly bike. But even if you've got your full license, this is a great bike to have. It looks fantastic. I mean, from the cartridge forks to the headlight, to the seat, to the brushed metal work, the stainless steel exhaust, just everything of it works so beautifully. Now, we are powered by Lexham Insurance, who are insurance specialists in the UK. They do cover for mopeds, scooters, motorcycles, quads, three-wheelers, the lot, especially A2 friendly motorcycles. So if you're in the UK, we've got a nice little offer for you. Click the link in the top right hand corner now, and that'll take you through to Lexham Insurance quotation form. When you complete a quotation on that form, you'll automatically have £20 deducted just because you click that BikeMatters link. So yeah, when it's insurance time, make sure to visit that link and get yourself a discount directly with Lexham. Now, I have to say, the seating position on this is absolutely lovely. We've obviously got these wide bars here, but the seat is lovely and comfortable. It's that bench seat, 765mm high. So even me at a mighty 5'6" can sit on this very easily and get both feet down on the tarmac absolutely fine. But yeah, it's lovely and comfortable, and it is a bench seat, so it's quite long as well for pillion on the back. and it kind of goes from a flat bench seat into a tuck and roll style to give that proper vintage look, which is great, but it's nice and comfy. And it's one of the things they looked at this model is improving the ergonomics on this. So the seat has changed slightly and been increased with an extra 10mm of padding to really help give it an even better, more comfortable ride. And you can feel it. It is a lovely and comfortable ride on this. It's nice and neutral. My shoulders, my arms, my back is all really nice. You know you've got wider bars, but it just works so lovely. And the mirrors, I'm admittedly not the biggest chap in the world, but how we've got the wind mirrors set up, I can see behind me, absolutely lovely. Nice, clear, well positioned. I've got very little of my shoulders or arms in that view, which is really good. That clutch on this is just ridiculously light. I mean, you can't get any lighter, I swear you can't. It makes it so user friendly, and that's what this bike is all about. It's got plenty of torque there to be a lot of fun, but it's also as sensible as you want as well, and as user friendly as you want. From that accessible seat height, from the comfortable riding position, from how the clutch is, to the gearbox, to the throttle, everything about this is done harmoniously and seamlessly. Now, if you want to ride it sensibly and lovely, you can, but it's got that extra torque. If you want to have a giggle, then there's torque there to make this move. We know it's not a sports bike or a hyper naked, so we know we're not going to have those kind of numbers, but what we do have is plenty of making this a great modern classic to have, whether you're a learner, or not a learner, sorry, whether you're fresh to an A2 license or new to a big bike, or you're a seasoned veteran of a bike. This is still a fantastic bike to get. I've got very little negative to say, and it's not really negatives, it's just picking the odd little thing. I think all around it is a great option. It really is. There's very little bad to say about this. Lovely enough torque. I keep saying lovely. I keep saying lovely because I'm bloody in love with this bike, and it's going to be an absolute bitch to pass it back. Now, for me personally, I think the Street Twin has a really decent level of tech on it. From the torque assist clutch, to the USB port under the seat, to the traction control which you can toggle on or off, to the immobiliser built into the key, to the ride-by-wire throttle. It's really nice levels of tech on it, I think, for what is a modern classic, the entry-level modern classic. Pretty good standards to have, and obviously, as required, we have dual ABS as well. Now, I'm not going to lie, when I was contacted by Triumph to get bikes in, and we had the option of getting a Bonneville, I was like a little kid at Christmas. Couldn't believe my luck. I've idolised the Bonneville for so long, but with that comes this problem, because when you've ridden a lot of bikes, you're then, I hope it's good. I hope it's good, because otherwise I'm going to be well upset, because my childhood was always dreaming of this bike just being awesome. And obviously this is the very latest version of it. Now I've got my hands on it, I am not disappointed. I absolutely adore this bike. It's roads like this for me where the Street Twin comes into its own. It is just, you ride within your own capability. You just enjoy it for what it is. Now we're going to pull up, me and Roger, and we're going to have a little natter. As you well know, Triumph Bonnevilles are one of my favourite bikes for all time. I've idolised getting it, but I think when you idolise a bike before you've even ridden it, it sets a standard that you could be easily disappointed. However, I'm definitely not disappointed.
Absolutely.
I know the Street Twin is the entry-level Bonneville.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely bloody adore this bike.
This
and
is
I
a real
can't really
surprise.
find much wrong with it.
It's a real surprise. I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did, because obviously I love the style of the Bonneville as well. But again, it's entry-level. The Street Twin, not got that much power to it.
And what I'd say about both bikes, sorry, just to interrupt, that's entry level, but it feels wrong saying they're entry level for what you're getting.
And they're so different as well.
Oh yeah,
Like chalk and cheese.
100%.
The thing they have in common is they're both nearly flawless at what they set out to do.
Yeah,
But you could easily own both of these, and I think that's credit to Triumph that they've clearly found their niche for both bikes, and laser targeted these bikes into that niche.
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, the Street Twin, an absolute joy to ride.
It's gorgeous. I mean, the styling, first of all, for me, it's like the perfect match of modern and classic because it's got the typical Bonneville styling to it.
Yeah.
We've got the shape of the fuel tank. We've got the engine, which they've even put fins on the engine to make it look air-cooled.
Yeah.
Which is just fantastic. We've got the brushed stainless steel exhaust, twin stainless steel exhaust, which looks great, sounds great.
It sounds amazing.
We've got brushed little metal here for the mounts for the headlight.
Yeah, the attention to detail.
And just like the Trident, there's little Triumph logos just dotted around everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And it just works, and it just looks quality.
It does. It feels quality.
Yeah, so we've got a little short mudguard on the front, so you know you're going to get a little bit caked in mud in the bad weather, but it looks fantastic, so who cares? Indeed. We've got the cartridge forks, which are 41mm at the front, which again, it just works, doesn't it?
It absolutely.
Got twin.
It's a little bit
shocks.
softer than the Trident, but you'd expect that because it's a different type of bike.
Yeah, softer suspension. It's kind of those. It's not overly soft.
No,
it's not. It's definitely not hard. It's just got that Goldilocks, lovely and comfortable for everyday riding. I find.
Absolutely. This has got to be one of the most comfy bikes I've ever ridden.
Oh yeah.
And the easiest bike I've ever ridden to ride.
Oh, it's just so friendly and comfortable.
It's effortless. It practically rides itself. It's got such a smooth. Again, it's got another slipper clutch similar to the Trident.
Yeah. Their torque assist clutch, as they call it.
And it's
light as a feather.
It's light as a feather. It's one of the smoothest as well. Because sometimes, when you downshift with a slipper clutch, you still get a bit of a kind of brings you down a little bit. This, you barely even feel it.
Yeah.
Everything is effortless.
Definitely. I mean, it is a struggle to find anything wrong with this. The only slight criticisms I can say at this stage is it's only a 12-litre fuel tank. So with about 65 miles per gallon, you get about 170 miles in range total.
Right.
I just think if that was a 14-litre tank, just give it, you'd be getting over the 200 mark in range. It's just a little bit better for it. We know it's not a tourer. It's an old school naked bike, but it'd just be good to have a little bit more range. And the other thing, I feel even bad suggesting it, is the tail light is LED, which works really nicely.
Yep.
The headlight is halogen, and I know people look at it and go, well, it should be LED, we're 2021. But it just gives that gorgeous golden yellow tint to it that Bonnevilles are known for. It's that vintage look.
Yeah, it's clearly a conscious decision by Triumph to do that. They want to capture that vintage look, and it does look awesome.
Yeah, it does. And they're the only things I can really find wrong with it. The one thing I would do actually on it is I would put pads on the side.
Right, okay.
Just so because my knees are against this.
Right.
And if that was mine, I'd want to protect the metalwork. So I would do that. Right, we're in first gear at the moment. We're only in like a 30 or 40, so I've got to be relatively calm. We're doing 20. Oh! There we go, and it's a 40, look. As simple as that. Just hear it. That engine throbbing away. Oh. I think it'd be impossible to ride this bike and not have a huge smile on your face. Now, if you're on Instagram, people, make sure to follow at BikeMatters team. You can see all the behind the scenes videos, photos way before reviews hit the channel. Lots of behind the scene content on our BikeMatters channel on Instagram. Now the dash on the Street Twin, as you can see, is split between analog and digital. At the top there is that analog speedometer, which looks great. Omitted is the rev gauge, but you can see that you can get your revs on the digital aspect if you so wish. Now underneath that is the LCD panel, which has all the vital information from fuel gauge, gear indicator, clock, odometer, trip, All that information is on there, and it's easy accessible and used with the info or I button on the left of the switchgear just there. Now at the very bottom you can see road, but you can switch between the two rider modes on this, road and rain, hitting that mode button again on the left of the switchgear. So as no one is really behind me, I'm going to do a little brake test for you. We're just going to do front brake. Oh, that stops well, that stops well. Get my lungs back. Yeah, so it's a 310mm disc at the front with a 4-piston Brembo brake caliper. Now on the rear, which I'm going to test in conjunction with the front in a minute, is a 255mm braking disc with a 2-piston Nissan brake caliper. So let's try both of them now. Oh, it stops. That stops absolutely fine. Now, obviously there'll be people saying, but you can put 2 discs on the front, that'd be even better. Yes, it would, but it isn't needed. And you've got to remember, this is the entry level Bonneville. So the, you know, if you want more, pay more, get the bigger Bonnie. But the single 310 at the front with a 4-piston Brembo and the 255 at the back with a 2-piston Nissan, oh, that stops. That stops absolutely fine. Now when it comes to the wheels and tyres, at the front we have an 18-inch wheel with a 100 wide tyre, and to the back we have a 17-inch wheel with a 150 wide tyre. Now the tyres on this are Pirelli Phantoms, which I've had no complaints about whatsoever. Now those wheels are cast wheels, but with machine detailing as well on the spokes, just for that little extra bit of quality, and it does look great. You have to give it to them. Again, more attention to detail from Triumph. Now a really impressive thing from Triumph is the fact that the service intervals on the Street Twin, much like the Triumph behind me I believe, is every 10,000 miles. Now that's not bad, is it? 10,000 mile service intervals on your Street Twin. Really good, and that's proper confidence by Triumph there that they think these engines are going to go and last. So yeah, 10,000 mile service intervals on the Street Twin. Happy days, eh? It's always numbers people like to hear. Now when we look at competitors out there, you've got the likes of the Kawasaki W800, the Royal Enfield Interceptor, and even the Moto Guzzi V7, which is now that 850 V-twin that they have in the 2021 version. They're all priced very competitively. We know the Royal Enfields are quite a bit cheaper, but there's, you know, the spec changes accordingly really, doesn't it? So you've got like the air-cooled motor on that one, and not so many bells and whistles that you get on the Street Twin, that's for sure. But when you look at the rest of the pack, like the W800, it's all very priced so closely to the Street Twin. And when you ride the Street Twin and see what it's packing, it really is bloody impressive for this price point, I have to say. You think as an entry-level modern classic, it might seem lacking in certain aspects. It might seem like you think, oh, could really do this or could really do that, and no, as standard, the Street Twin, it feels bad saying it's entry level or kind of like almost like a beginner bike or entry level, because it doesn't feel entry level. It feels absolute quality, and I think most people would just love a bike such as this. So on to pricing, and the Triumph Street Twin starts from £8,400 for the black colourway. Now if you like the blue like I do, or the Ironstone, that starts from £8,600. So it's time to wrap up my review on the Triumph Street Twin. I've loved riding this bike, I really have. I'm going to be so sorry to see it go. Now if you've enjoyed my video doing a full review on the Triumph Street Twin, make sure to give it a like rating. Go on, we really appreciate it here at the channel. If you've got any comments or questions about the Street Twin, put that in the comments section below. If you're not already subscribed to the BikeMatters channel, why not? Hit that red subscribe button, ding that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.